Well, hey everyone, this is Kim at the Able Gardener, and I'm going to do some softwood cuttings today of my butterfly bush, this little guy over here that's on my shoulder. And all you need to do is have a butterfly bush or have access to one, and you take the very tip of what's growing. I take off probably about the bottom half of the softwood cutting, and I do use rooting hormone. So all I'm doing is I've got a bottle of water here. I'm going to get the bottom half of my softwood cutting. I'm going to get it wet. It's like I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So there we go. If you guys can see that. It's white on the bottom half. I'm going to go ahead and take one of these yogurt containers, stick it down in, up into the rooting hormone, maybe just a little bit more. Then I'm going to just take my fingers, push it down around there, because all this is a little stick going into dirt or into soil. And then I'm going to go ahead and water that in. Now I don't have any holes in the bottom of my yogurt container yet. I'll do that later, but what I want to do right now is just have that rooting hormone on that stem, and I want it to sit in some moist soil for a while. I'll probably wait a couple of days, see if anything's happening with the softwood cutting. You know, has it died? Has anything at all happened to it? And if it hasn't, I'm going to go ahead and put some holes in the bottom. So let's take another one. So I'll go ahead and get some rooting hormone on that one. Put it down in the soil very gently, pack it down, and water it. Let me take one more that looks like a good one right there. And notice I'm doing it with some, well, you don't know that they're sharp, but they're really sharp little nippers, and it's going to make a really sharp cut on the end of my cutting. Now what I'll do is I'll keep an eye on these guys. If they take a dive at all, then I know that it's probably not going to come back out of it. It's just a stick in the ground. It's not going to all of a sudden get roots and have its leaves come back out. I've never had that happen. So I'll keep an eye on these guys, see if they start to grow, or see if they just stay stagnant for a while and then start to grow. Then you know you probably have a softwood cutting that's going to make it. Now I would keep on waiting on that, and it could take up to anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks to see anything happening. At 4 weeks you might see some new leaves coming out if it does have roots and it is alive. If it's not growing at all, or if it's looking sad, or a lot of the leaves are dying and just falling off, then you probably don't have a softwood cutting that's going to make it. So I'm going to go ahead and write on some masking tape what the date is. I know what the plant is, but I could write that on there too. I'm just going to write down the date. So I see you guys back in about, I don't know, 6, maybe even 8 weeks. I'll see how the butterfly bushes are doing. If they all three die, I'll let you guys know. But in the meantime, if they don't die, I'll just continue to water them, feed them. I'll also get holes in the bottom of these containers. So at that time, I'll see you back and I'll show you how they're doing. Oh, one other thing. I'm taking these 3 inside and putting them in my greenhouse. Not for any particular reason, except that I don't know what the weather's going to be out here. I know what it is inside. The room is right around 65 degrees, something like that. And also I'll be more apt to keep them watered inside, where I know where they are and I see them every day. So anyway, you guys, we'll check up on these guys 6 to 8 weeks, something like that. So I know it's a long time for you to wait, but actually when I get back to you, it'll only be like that. Well, hey everyone, this is Kim and welcome back. Well, this is my front yard where I'm doing my lawn removal, rebate, whatever. And since I'm in my front yard, there are going to be cars going by like crazy. But hopefully my mic picks up my voice more than it does the cars going by. What we're going to do today is go over my softwood cuttings that I took off my butterfly bush about 6 to 7 weeks ago. Now, if you remember, I took 3 softwood cuttings off my butterfly bush. I removed the bottom half of the leaves. So the top half had some leaves, the bottom half didn't have any leaves. The softwood cutting was cut with some sharp nippers, and then I put it in some water and stuck it in some rooting hormone. Well, just like I said I was going to do, I took them in the house, put them in the greenhouse where I could keep an eye on them, and within probably about, I don't know, 4 to 5 days, one of them really took a dive. It took a dive fast. It just went over, the leaves all started falling off of it, and I knew that that plant was totally dead. Another one that I was keeping an eye on, I thought it was going to die, and then it started sending out leaves along the stem. So now there's just so much noise out here this afternoon. I'm going to go around to the backyard. Well, you guys, I decided to move to the backyard. Even though I'm in the sun a little bit, it was just way too noisy up there. And when the garbage men started going by, I knew I had to leave the front yard. So I came into the backyard to transplant these little butterfly bush softwood cuttings out of the yogurt containers into 1 gallon containers. And I know that's not much of a jump. It's probably about, well, a little bit more than half of a jump up. But I don't have any place to put these little guys right now. And until I do, I want to get them into a larger container. And I also want to see what the roots look like, because they've been in these containers somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks. And I just want to see what the root system is doing. And the other thing is, I wanted to try out these 2 different soils on these softwood cuttings. Now, this soil, I already know what it does. This is my potting soil that I use for just about everything. I use it to start seeds. It has just a little bit of fertilizer in it, so I will have to water the butterfly bush with some water that has fertilizer in it. But it's nice and small, friable. It's really nice to start seeds in. And then this other container looks like it has a lot of vermiculite or perlite in it. They're really big pieces anyway, but it's nice, small and friable. But this is called vermisoil. So it has vermicompost in it, so worm castings. It has fulvic and humic acid, has mycorrhiza, trichoderma. Actually, it has a lot of different mycorrhizas in it. So let's get some of the soil out of this container and go ahead, plant this softwood cutting and see what the roots look like. Now, just bringing them out here, they were jiggled a little bit, so I'm hoping that the roots didn't break off. Okay, well, I'm not seeing a lot of roots. There's a big rock, I must have put in the bottom. There's some coconut coir right there in kind of a chunk. Oh, I see a root. Well, you can't see it from that angle, and I don't want this to fall apart. It looks like a root coming out right here, and maybe oh, look at this. There's a whole little system of roots right there. Well, since this is a softwood cutting, I was going to say I'm going to be extra careful with it, and the bottom just broke off of it. So now you can really see the softwood cutting did put out quite a few roots. So I'm going to set that down and dump a little bit of this vermicompost, or vermisoil. That's what it was called. Put a little vermisoil in there. Now I'm going to be extra careful with this one. This was the one I didn't think was going to make it. You can tell that the leaves are a different color. It does have a bunch of little tiny leaves coming out on the stem, but basically it's not a really healthy looking plant. So let's see if this vermisoil pulls it out of its slump here. Now, without me tipping it too far, you can see the roots coming down the sides all around. All the roots are coming down. I think I have a little too much vermisoil. So gently, ever so gently, set that down and get the vermisoil around it so it doesn't move too much. Now what I'll do is I'll just tap this back and forth just a little bit to settle the soil, and then I'll just leave the water to settle the soil the rest of the way. So a butterfly bush, it's a really pretty bush. It comes in anywhere from light pink to lavender, all the way to dark purple. The dark purple one I think is called Dark Night. But they're really beautiful, well, beautiful flowers, and the butterflies just are drawn to them like crazy. Bees like them, hummingbirds love them. So they're a really nice shrub. If you don't cut it back, they grow somewhere up to, I would say, 6 to 8 feet. I've never had anything kill a butterfly bush, so I don't know what I can tell you to watch out for that might kill it, because I've never had one die. Anyway, you guys, if I do come up with something that you should watch out for on your butterfly bush, some insect or fungus or bacteria, something like that, I'll put a little note below saying what to watch out for. Thank you guys for joining me today. It's been, a 6 to 8 week wait, but it all turned out okay. So I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good gardening day. God bless you guys. Bye-bye.